If you think movie history was only made in Hollywood, then you probably haven't been to the historic Park Theater in Estes Park, Colorado. Since 1913, this cinematic landmark has been entertaining moviegoers from around the world, and is considered to be one of the oldest movie theaters still operating in America. In this documentary, you're going to meet the man who was an integral part of the Park Theater's early years. His name is John Ramey, and during the 1940s and into the early 1960s, John worked alongside legendary theater owner Ralph Gwynn, showcasing first-run motion picture classics from Hollywood's golden age. Join us as we bring you the first chapter in the Park Theater Family Album. If you've ever visited the Park Theater, you might have heard about Ralph Gwynn and the magnificent tower he built soon after he bought the theater in 1922. Some have said that it represents his lady love who left him standing at the altar, while others say it's simply a beautiful work of art and a testament to Ralph's belief that this theater should be the show of the town. Besides the tower, very little is known about Ralph Gwynn. In fact, it's been next to impossible to even find a picture of him. However, one man knew Ralph very well and developed a lifelong friendship with him. Meet John Ramey. His long and accomplished life includes his service as a Navy mechanic in World War II and his career in the real estate and insurance business. But it was his years working at the Park Theater that left an indelible mark on the history of this glorious movie palace.
Well, I was born in Longmont 85 years ago. 1921, December 31st. I lived in Lyons all my life up until I was about 15 or 16, and then moved to Estes Park. And that's where I met Ralph Gwynn. We became friends and ultimately depended on each other.
Soon after meeting Ralph, John became fascinated with the theater's unique projection system. His experience as a Navy mechanic gave John the technical know-how that Ralph needed in order to run the complicated theater equipment.
I said, "Ralph, what's it like up in the booth?" And he said, "Well, come over and I'll show you. I'm a little scientific-minded." And so it was intriguing, room full of machines, and I've learned to run them.
To many, Ralph remains an enigma in the Park Theater's long history. What is known, however, is that after purchasing the theater in 1922, Ralph made several alterations to the building, including the addition of a large lobby, a state-of-the-art projection booth, and a magnificent 80-foot tower. During his years at the Park Theater, Ralph spent much of his time behind the auditorium's movie screen, which he had modified to serve as his living quarters.
You know, he used to sit up, he had a Hallicrafter's shortwave radio, and he used to sit up until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning listening to the shrimpers on the Gulf. I never saw him make a decision that wasn't correct. He was a man of means, but he didn't show it. And he'd run around with an old hat and always a suit. I know one night up at the Legion, we was talking around there, and so the subject came up of who was the worst. Or B.C. Smith said, "Well, Ralph, who do you think is the worst?" And Ralph fingered his cigarette and said, "Well, it kind of looks like a toss-up to me." You know, he was a nice guy. He wouldn't commit himself to anything bad about a person.
Working as a theater projectionist during those early years gave John the chance to enjoy some of Hollywood's legendary blockbuster films.
He would go down to Denver in the spring and spend about a month and go around book film for the summer. And so by the time he got back, he had the summer lined up. MGM and Disney and, yeah, Gone with the Wind. I played that sucker 4 hours.